All right. It is 6:01, Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023. I'll call this meeting of the Montgomery City Council into session at this time. Thank you for tuning in from the outside, and those who have come this evening, thank you for taking an interest in our city. I'd ask that you silence cell phones everywhere in the room to avoid any interruptions to our meeting as we proceed. With that, I'd like to invite you to stand for the invocation given by Mr. Stan Donaldson and the pledge of allegiance to the flag.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, another opportunity, Father, to serve the city of Montgomery. We thank you, Lord, that we operate in justice and fairness, Father, with everybody in this city. I thank you, Lord, you guide us and lead us, Father, in the way we should go, that we can maximize the people here, Father, to cause the city to prosper in everything it does. Lord, we thank you for this day and for your guidance. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Salute to the American flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Visitor and Citizens Forum, do we have anyone signed to speak? Okay. On the consent agenda, item 1, sales tax report. Council have anything? No question? If not, move to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Sarah, second by Stan. Motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of approving consent agenda item 1, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed, say no. And we will approve the sales tax report item 1. All right, item 2, discussion of proposed fiscal year 24 annual budget and approval of a proposed fiscal year 24 tax rate cap.
Thank you, Mayor. We've had 3 workshops and several meetings about this year's upcoming budget fiscal year 2024. So you must adopt the tax rate and budget not later than your September 26th meeting to be ready for the 10-1 fiscal year. Prior to adoption, in accordance with state law, the city's required to submit a proposed annual budget to the city secretary, who in turn is required to post for public review. We have done that, so that's been completed, so no formal action is required from the city council on the budget, nor can you take the action on that until we bring it back to you on the 26th. It's got to sit for 30 days. Our next budget workshop is scheduled for Monday, September 11th of 2023. And on September 12th, we hold our public hearings for the tax rate and the proposed budget. We're also looking at building a workshop on September 22nd, so I'll give you more information on that. On September 26th, we'll adopt the final tax rate and the annual budget. So, the proposed fiscal year 24 tax rate. The city is required to approve a proposed, not final tax rate, to fund the FY24 annual budget. That's what you must do tonight. Staff is recommending the council approve a proposed maximum tax rate at a level that may allow funding of necessary capital projects to the level of comfort that you all have. We're currently, as you know, we met with our financial advisors. You can skip the rest of that paragraph in my memo. We met with him tonight. We talked about our funding options. We're going to be looking for our CIP, working with the financial advisor, coming back at these next workshops with some answers to those funding option questions. So tonight, what we're recommending is you all approve a proposed tax rate, again, at the level you're comfortable with for funding all of the projects and expenditures for next year. Now, the caveat is our current tax rate is 0.4. If you guys approve 0.4 tonight, on the 26th, you cannot go above 0.4 without going back through this process again. At that point, it's too late. So tonight, whatever you set is the rate that you have to approve or less on the 26th. I don't know if I'm making sense there. If you have any questions, please ask me. But tonight, we're recommending you approve your comfortable proposed tax rate.
Discussion?
So based on the information we gained from our workshop today and the council members that were present, it appeared that even if we did go to bond, we could cover at the 0.4. Everybody in agreement with that?
Correct. Yes.
Make a motion?
I make the motion that we keep the tax rate as is
Motion.
as proposed FY '24
As is, as in?
at .408.
4-0.
Okay, the motion's by Sarah.
I second it.
Second is by Cheryl, and this vote requires a roll call vote. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. So the motion is to set the proposed rate at .40 going forward for fiscal year 2024. Those in favor by roll call will say yes. If you are opposed, you'll say no. Position 1?
Yes.
Yes.
Position 1 would be Carol Langley.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You have to wait your
No,
turn, dear.
no. No, I thought you was calling, I apologize.
All right. Position 2, Casey.
Yes.
Position 3, Sarah.
Yes.
Now it's
Position
my
4, Cheryl.
We don't know what you're going to say.
Yes. Position 5, Stan.
Yes.
Yes. And the motion carries 5-0 to set the proposed tax rate fiscal year 2024 at .40. That is now 5 consecutive years of retaining that rate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Item 3, call for a public hearing regarding the proposed fiscal year 2024 tax rate and fiscal year 2024 annual budget.
Thank you, Mayor. Related to the last item, you guys need to have a public hearing on the tax rate and the annual budget before adoption. Our recommendation is call for the public hearing to be held at 6 p.m. September 12, 2023 in the City Hall Council Chambers regarding the proposed fiscal year 2024 tax rate and fiscal year 2024 annual budget.
And that hearing proposed was September 12th,
Yep.
so we need to state that in the motion.
Yes, just a call for the public hearing.
Okay?
It's not a motion, huh? He just makes the call.
No, you
Yeah,
have
it's
to
just a
make a motion.
Needs to have the date
Yeah. And time and place.
and the time and place probably, right?
I make a motion for a public hearing to be held at 6 p.m. September 12th, 2023 in the City Hall City Council Chambers regarding the proposed fiscal year 2024 tax rate and fiscal year 2024 annual budget.
Motion's by Sarah. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second is by Casey. Motion's debatable. Amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of approving the motion as stated, say yes.
Yes, yes.
Anyone opposed, say no. And we will approve establishing that meeting, whatever it's called, public hearing, September 12th. Item 4, consideration of approval of an ordinance by the City of Montgomery, Texas, city authorizing the settlement of the proposed fuel reconciliation of Energy Texas Incorporated, finding that the meeting complies with the Open Meetings Act, making other findings and provisions related to the subject, and declaring an effective date.
Thank you, Mayor. Montgomery, City of Montgomery is part of a consortium of cities that has banded together to protest the rate increases on behalf of the residents, customers. This firm that represents this group is a law firm. I enclosed the attached letter and a draft ordinance for you to consider. Our recommendation is to approve adopting this ordinance in the case Montgomery's acceptance of the proposed settlement of Energy's 2022 fuel reconciliation request, we recommend approval of the ordinance as proposed. I'll refer to Caleb for additional information. What questions you may have.
So the rate, I did read the letter, and I'm going to go back and make sure. Because I know the state recently let these utility companies are going to recover some $3-4 billion this year and another $3 billion next year, right? How is it going to affect our energy rates?
So the way I interpreted the letter, or actually it explicitly states in the letter that there's no rate impact towards customers, as they did not request a surcharge, so it will not affect customers, and it explicitly states that in the cover letter.
Right. Well, and I had a hard time understanding how they were going to recuperate their money without raising their rates and surcharges.
I thought the same.
Yeah. Especially, so here's another thing that, you know, the state, everybody's pushed solar panels. We had solar panel people here. Some of the utility companies are easy to deal with solar panels. Entergy is one of those that used to be easy to deal with solar panels. They have changed their policy, and now basically it costs you, they basically charge you to have solar panels on your house. They're taking your power and selling it back to you. So I'm just struggling right now with our utility companies, so.
And I guess back to your first question, it's under recovery, so I guess theoretically they're saying that they didn't charge enough. So that's why they're selling on this amount.
They expect to retain 10% of the margins earned on off-system sales in lieu of surcharge.
As many energy problems as we have here, I'm sure our residents would like to be compensated for their food that they've lost and night sweating.
But we really don't have a choice in this matter.
No, we don't.
It's part of a
Yep.
cooperative suit.
If you don't take any action, then they'll just assume that you're unopposed.
That's right.
Yep, they'll assume you're not opposed.
If you're both, they don't care. Okay.
All right. Any other further discussion?
Make a motion to approve the ordinance as proposed.
Motion by Casey, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Stan. The motion is debatable, amendable, requires a majority vote. All in favor of approving item 4 ordinance as stated, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed, say no. And we will approve item 4 as stated. Item number 5, consideration and possible action on accepting a new sanitary sewer easement on Lot 7 in Lone Star Estates and abandonment of the existing sanitary sewer easement.
Mayor and council, we've talked about the sanitary sewer easements a few times now over in Lone Star Estates. As I put in the memo, the issue is when the subdivision was developed back in the late 90s, there was one particular line that was just not within the sanitary sewer easement. There's no, records of what or why or an approval. If you recall, those on council last year in late 22, we secured the easement needed on Lot 6. What this does, if you look on page 52 of your packet, kind of shows you where Lot 6 and 7 are. And then on the subsequent page, on page 53, you can see the dashed red line is we got the piece on Lot 6 last year. This gives us the piece on Lot 7, as well as abandons the existing easement there, the yellow dash line that runs a little further south where there's not a sewer line, there'll never be a sewer line. So be happy to answer any thoughts or questions you have on it and do the best I can. And I should point out again, it says in the memo there, but again, what this does, this is, we are getting a new easement and abandoning the old one at the same time. So there's a two-part to the motion.
Way back when we started this discussion, staff didn't seem to have any concerns about the progress of that then, and there's nothing that's changed.
Right.
So staff is recommending.
make a motion to accept the new sewer easement and abandon the existing easement as presented.
We have a motion by Casey. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Sarah. The motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of approving item 5 as stated, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed, say no. We will approve item 5 as stated. Thank you, Dave. Item 6, review and discussion of the Home Depot and City of Montgomery Memorandum of Understanding and Chapter 380 agreement process for the potential Home Depot site located at the northeast corner of FM 105 and Buffalo Springs Drive.
So at your places should be a warm-up version of the memo. I did ask if you read it. I don't know about y'all, but I have an increasingly harder time reading some of the stuff as I get older, so. The red, if you look at this memo, this was our response, city attorney's response to Home Depot's response to us. So they sent us some changes recently. First of all, we've gone back and forth a couple times on the MOU, and they sent us some changes. We accepted several of them, but the ones you see in front of you that are red are the ones that we cannot accept. Their response to us was that they will not accept our changes. So they are requesting 100% of sales tax. And they're also, if you see on there, they have liquidated damages. Did they remove the time for the following chapter 3? So they request that chapter 380 be approved by September 12th. They are requesting that we install the signal and approve the intersection by a certain period of time or incur liquidated damages. What was the other one? 100% of the sales tax. So those are the big key ones right now. We wanted to bring this up for discussion and get your input. I don't know where we go from here. I'll defer to Caleb. He's had some correspondence with them.
Yes, just one revision on that first comment. The 50% sales tax reimbursement time period would actually be 2 years, not 3.6. So we already made that correction and notified Home Depot, and they were still opposing the payback period. They want 100% sales tax reimbursement.
Gary, as you know, I was in your office when this was first read, and as soon as I saw 100%, no, it just can't happen. That's a bad deal. We either renegotiate, I think it's worthy of renegotiating, but they don't seem to get that. I mean, I just think that's a bad deal.
So no action needs to be taken tonight. Just want to have this on the agenda to give you all an update on what's happening.
Like I say, I do think it's worthy of still battling, but if they don't come off that 100%, I just can't see it.
Let's sort of battle over. They've drawn the line, and they can do more than they're doing. And
Yeah.
they got this to you, I'm assuming today, since you didn't have it yesterday, Gary?
It was 2 days.
Very good last night.
Okay, yeah, I mean, knowing that we are discussing it tonight, and this is the first time that council's gotten to see it, I mean, just disrespectful, and I haven't seen any action that they actually want to be a part of this community at all.
That's right. There's no love us. They don't love us.
To that point, I just want to let you know what our previous councils have done and set precedents. And the easiest way I can say it is they've done a very bad job, right? So all that is public. So all they're doing is coming back and saying, hey, this is how the city operates. And this is actually a better deal got a way better deal on this than what Kroger did to us.
No doubt.
Well,
Right,
that was
we're
different time, different
15
council,
years.
different everything.
That was a
yeah.
long time ago.
And it was a bad deal,
We're gonna be
without
paying
a
for that
doubt.
forever.
But
No doubt.
I don't want to see another bad deal come
The
in.
shops, all those things. So, yeah, I mean, if anything, we just chunk the 380 out the window and say, build your own stoplight. Because then they're going to be held to the same TxDOT regulation as we are, as trying to get it built. So build your own stoplight. Because that's the thing, we've approved them to build. So they can build. This agreement is just, we were trying to get something extra.
And the most we can get with it would be, you know, the road up to the frontage. We could go back to that, drop the 380 agreement altogether. Does that sound like something that,
The road to the frontage, they're only going to go to their,
from Buffalo to the frontage of the property?
yeah, okay, I'm like,
We were trying to get to the back of the property at least.
which is like a quarter of the road, or a third of the
Yeah,
road.
it's a start.
It's an end.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think that's very good, but I mean, you know, take another stab at it and see what happens, but they don't seem to be, you know, they were in here somewhat thinking timeline, weren't they? And then they come back, and it doesn't seem like they're so pressed, you know? I don't know. What do y'all think?
Well, there's no action to take, it's just figure this out, or, you know,
I mean, do we want staff to go back at all?
I'll call them.
Okay.
I'll fix it.
You'll what?
I'll call them and fix it.
But you can't make negotiations without us.
I know, I'll bring it all back to you, just like I did the first time.
Right, you made negotiations without us. Then you told us.
I got us $750,000 out of thin air.
Well, it's,
Well, you could take a shot at it and see what happens. But anyway, it definitely has a long ways to go.
Scales and I can improve offline after the meeting, and get back to the strategy.
Okay. All right. Any other further discussion? No action needed, so we'll move on to departmental reports. Item 7, court report.
And I think,
Kimberly?
there was a training today. So if you have questions, if you want to give them to me, I'll give them to Kimberly, and we'll get an answer.
Okay. We did have a rise in court ticket collection. That's the word I'm looking for.
Do we have any idea what warrants are coming in, or do we even collect warrants anymore, or do you know? Can we find out?
You want to know what revenue numbers we're bringing in for warrants?
Yeah, that sounds good. We haven't seen anything on warrants
Okay.
in a long time. I hope it's zero.
I'm sorry.
I hope it's zero, that we're not having any warrants, but I know it's not.
I had a question by a citizen today, just today, it was kind of an HOA, somewhat of a health hazard. Been working with Chief Solomon and code enforcement. I appreciate y'all working on that. But it's an abandoned home situation, a possible health hazard, so I've been trying to channel it through our people, and they've done a good job. But I wondered, she was wanting somewhat of a legal counsel, and do we have that ability for a citizen to come to our judge for that? Because there's attorneys that do work there. Is that for a civil matter? Is that anything?
First part of that, man.
She's, there's a lady that's HOA, and she's wondering what recourse can the HOA have when you've got litigation tying up a foreclosed home? Is there any recourse for somebody to come here and get some legal help besides Judge Mack, or would it just be Judge Mack's
I mean,
court?
I would recommend this person talk to the prosecutor. I wouldn't talk to the judge.
Okay, she has to go that high?
Yes.
Question?
Well, the judge is out.
Judge hired the prosecutor.
Prosecutors just,
The situation that you're talking about is actually under litigation. It's the bank that owns that home. The guy was foreclosed on during the pandemic, but he keeps going back and suing them. So the people at the bank who actually own the house, there's nothing they can do until all this is starting to get cleared up.
Well, that's what I told her, because you and I had had a
Yeah.
conversation about it, and they're just beating their head against the wall, and now it's a mosquito hazard, right? Because, you know, mosquitoes, you can get, and then I said, well, okay, well, it's got to be a county health thing. So she's trying to get a county health connection to it. I mean, where do people go when you've got abandoned homes and you...
And if that's some other issues, such as some health issues, then that may be something you can look at.
So it's got to be health, right?
But as far as, you know, like with us going in there, it's all,
Yeah, that's what I
it's
told her.
all
You
under
don't want to go
litigation.
in there in private
It's
matter.
not something we can do.
All right.
It could be a nuisance, though, since you have to go to city code and see if it fits within the parameters that violation.
Here's the problem.
But
with-
enforcing it
Yeah,
might be a...
because here's the problem with that as well. The front of the place looks absolutely great. It's when you get to the back, and so now you got people peeping through the back window to see if there's something going on back there, and there's no reason or no legal reason to go in their backyard.
has to be
Because the
a
front's all
clause.
nice and cut and...
Our staff has said there has to be just cause
Yeah.
to do something, but how do you get that when it's backyard, but the smell, and again, mosquitoes are festering there?
There's, I don't know the other party, but it gets sued civilly.
Yeah, I told her that too, and you'll just tie it up more, but
The HOA has got a lot of stroke here in Texas, and I'm thinking,
this one doesn't seem to. I like
well,
to
the
say we're
HOA as
forming.
an entity does. So I'm wondering if you could, I mean, Caleb, who can make,
Tell you what she's found.
oh, okay.
So in the state code or under the state statute, there is the public nuisance. But when it comes to water or swimming pools in the backyard, the best that we could do, if we could get permission to get on the property, is to throw mosquito dunks. And after you throw the mosquito dunks, all I can do is post a notice on the front door of that property letting them know we threw mosquito dunks in, what the chemical properties are, whether it's safe for people and animals, that kind of thing, and that's it. So there is also a section in the statute that talks about stagnant waters. Now, I have to show some type of probable cause to get back there with a warrant to say there is stagnant water.
So a citizen, so if a citizen came and filed a nuisance, you could then at least take that step?
I can try and use that as probable cause with the judge. I don't know what the judge might think about
That's why
that.
it came up here. Is there a judge way that he can send citizens here for some kind of counsel?
Can you get a drone, because nobody owns airspace, can you get a drone and look in the backyard and then present that
It's
to
still
the
considered,
judge?
it's still considered private. Right. We have looked at that, and we do have
Just
something on that. that-
Taking pictures of the sunset.
I'm taking my drone back now. Okay, just a thought. Thank you all for what you've been doing.
Thank you.
All right, anything else? Not item 8, utility operations report, H2O.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For your July report, for district alerts, we did receive a low system pressure call out on the 7th. That was due to a contractor hitting a line at 1097 and 149. That line obviously was repaired. We flushed the area, pressure was restored. And on the 20th at the sewer plant, we had a clarifier failure where it was leaking oil from the top gearbox that had to be replaced under emergency. That was done, I believe, the next day as we kept topping off oil. It was done in one day. There was no issues to the environment. Everything got done and back to operating normally. Next page will be your wastewater plant flow detail. We flowed 6.148 million gallons out of the sewer plant. Your average daily flow was 198,000. You see little to no rainfall for the month. And all samples came back within your permitted limits on page 4, so that was good. Page 5 will be your water report. Pumped a total of 20.017 million gallons. We're able to account for 96% of the water. So on the bottom, we'll show your Lone Star pumpage report. Jasper Welsel has 54 million gallons, and the well 4 has 41 million. It's Catahoula. So we're still within permit. Keeping an eye on that. Next page is just your groundwater production again. You're running numbers. Of course, you see well 3 is doing most of the pumping, with well 4 getting a little bit of run time. The last page will be the water accountability. And you see we're 96%, which is right in line with what y'all are usually at. I think y'all are running average is about 95%. Very good. That's all I have for this report.
Any questions? All right, thank you. Item 9, Public Works Report. Mike?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You have my report in front of you. I'd be happy to answer any questions on it, but I would like to hit first on the Water Well 2 issue, just to kind of update what's going on. We had a company come out and run a camera in the hole. Their findings are not 100% clear. They can only get down to about the 3rd screen. There's 4 screens in the well. They got down to about 690 feet, and they can't go any further. It's full of sand, full of clay, which usually indicates in their words, a catastrophic failure. They have proposed an attempt to basically clean the dirt out of what's in there to get a better look. Looking at $25 grand to do that. So we've got Weisinger Well coming out probably Thursday or Friday to give us a second opinion. So they're going to camera what's there now, give us their opinion of what's going on, and then we'll have to make a decision at that point on whether we want to take a gamble or we want to look at drilling a new well for higher capacity. Those are just all questions that are up in the air right now. We won't have an answer to until we get a second opinion. So we'll update as we find out stuff. We'll update Gary so he can keep everyone in the loop. And but that's what we know as of right now.
Mike, underwater, you have repaired numerous leaks caused by boring contractors throughout the town for fiber installation project. Did we bill them for the hours used and our resources?
Well, we attempted to file it under our insurance, and they have denied that. Yeah, so.
So then can we go ahead and bill the contractor?
We can bill them. I'll tell you, there's not a real high success rate with that happening. I'm not saying it's not worth the effort. I'm just realistically speaking, it's going to be a battle. Some of the locate marks were on, some of them weren't. Whenever the locate marks aren't on, it basically releases them of responsibility. So it's tough to get someone to just turn over money whenever it really, some of the times we still consider it their fault. If we don't mark the lines right, but they don't even pothole it to check it, we still consider that their fault. But yeah, we unless we have something to hang over their head, then it may not be much luck in going after it, but we'll do what we can. Definitely don't mind sending them an invoice and seeing what they say.
What's a stamp these days, 56 cents?
Yeah.
Yep.
Any other questions? Chris, did you have something on that? Oh, okay. You look like you were wanting to add something.
And our water pressure and everything is still okay?
Yeah, pressure's okay as of right now. We had a complaint yesterday at the apartments, Hills of Town Creek Apartments, and it's 3rd floor. Same new manager out there, and he didn't know the whole story on the 3rd floor. They always have pressure issues out there. It's a constant 42 pounds at the office, and it was yesterday. Whenever I explained to him how head loss works, with the height, he understood, and he said, yeah, every complaint that I've got is from the 3rd floor, so he's able to pass that on. Went through the whole speech with him again about they can install their own pressure booster system, on their end if they want. There are options that they can do, but we are providing the above the legal requirement.
Just for clarification on overhanging trees off of 105, I spoke to you about the light west, or eastbound on the west side from Montgomery and Methodist. Is that still a TxDOT thing, or
Yes,
can we?
Yeah, everything on 105, 1097, any overhanging stuff like that is TxDOT, and we pass it on.
I sent it to Commissioner Walker to help me with TxDOT to get it done, because there's actually 3 sections there where it's overhanging. I'm surprised trucks haven't. In this hurricane season, you would think they would get on that, so I hope they do.
Yeah, and our typical way of handling it is calling over there to the main number. Whenever we do that, then they generate a work order for it. So I've got a couple of contacts that I can call kind of on the side, but if I call over there to the main number, it's kind of like putting in a work order with us. That work order is always there, and we can't
I'll make
overlook it.
headway, I'll give you a call, and maybe you can help me with
Okay.
that.
Quick question about the well number 2. What depth are our other wells?
The other Jasper is roughly the same. So this one is 789, I believe. The Catahoula is 2,200? Yeah, 2,200?
And the Catahoula is the one that puts out the hot water?
Yes.
So we don't want to go there again?
No, we don't have to, no.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of space over at the Well 2 site right now, a lot of unused space, so we've got plenty of room to do something if we had to. It's just unexpected that, well was to,
Well, my question
worst
is,
case
it
collapse.
concerns that aquifer. If we have 2 wells on the same aquifer, basically the same depth, and they're not that far apart, they're probably the same aquifer. We need to make sure we keep an eye on what's coming out of the other well at that same depth.
So if we drill the new well, we're required to do a hydrogeology report for Lone Star that would model the effects of the groundwater on both of those. And they run it at a, what was it? It was like essentially it runs constant for months to see the drawdown. I forgot the exact time of it.
Well, the drawdown is one thing, but wells is, right, we drill all kinds of stuff, and we will destroy a well on occasion by pulling it too hard, but because those wells are very close, how far apart are they? The 2 and, what is it, 3, that's in that same?
2 and 3, yeah, they're,
How far apart are they?
I don't know the footage offhand, but it's,
Half
yeah,
a mile.
at least.
So if we had a catastrophic failure, right, so the way wells work, you don't just hit a big pool of water under there, right? We just need to make sure we don't have failure communication with our other well. Right? So,
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue at all with the study that he's talking about.
no, that study wouldn't tell us that, right? The drawdown wouldn't tell us that. Only thing that would tell us that is what's coming out of the other well, right? So if we have a catastrophic failure like they predict, that means we've had flow, areas of flow that have collapsed and fallen in and come into our flow path, right? Is that a trend? Because it's only half a mile away. What's happening to that aquifer, right?
Yeah.
We lost one well, which was, we don't use it that much, but if we lose another one on that same aquifer, now we're in a bind.
Yeah. But at this point, we don't even know what it is we don't know if the whole thing is collapsed or if it's just the screens that are deteriorated. We don't know. We'll know more once we get a better look on the camera, which we can hopefully get. We'll know more. Can't really provide any answers right now on what it is. Hopefully we'll know more in the next couple of days.
Okay. All right,
All right, thank you.
very good. On to item 10, the city engineer's report.
All right, good evening. Starting on page 81 of your packets, we'll go through the major items of the report. Flagship Boulevard project, we did receive a change order this month for $898.56. What was found is closer to Wood Forest Bank, one of the sanitary leads was sitting right on top of the old pipe, and since we put in a larger diameter or thicker pipe, it had to be relocated. Other than that, they're substantially complete. The road has been reopened. They're working on site cleanup and will likely hold off on laying sod as it's too hot.
So in that site cleanup, that includes all the way into Berkshire parking lot, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Any material, debris, cleanup is on them. We'll have a walkthrough here probably with them next week to identify any final items outside of grass that need to clean up. Item 2, your 2023 sanitary sewer rehabilitation project. We have those contracts tonight for full execution. We'll have a pre-construction meeting next week with the contractor for that project. Flipping over to the second page of our report, the Phase 2 rehab project, that is back in TxDOT's hands and has been for about 2.5 weeks. Lift Station 10 and the old Plantersville projects are all ongoing. We're coordinating with those individual developers as needed to get those complete. McAllen Waterline Replacement Project, that is nearing completion, but is kind of on the back burner waiting on timeline for the Downtown Improvements Project. The permit amendment is underway. We expect to submit that to the state by the end of this month for your Town Creek wastewater plant to increase its capacity. And water plant number 3, that improvements project that was completed, we just had the 1-year warranty. So we held the warranty inspection with the contractor back on August the 3rd. We'll have additional inspection later this fall because there was some interior tank work that we want to take a look at. And obviously, we don't want to take off anything offline during the middle of the summer. Move on to the next page of our report. This is really just going over updates on plan reviews, plat reviews, and ongoing construction projects. Main thing to hit is the Montgomery Bend Section 1 final plat. We provided comments to that on August the 17th, so we expect that to come back any day now. And then on the top of the following page, you'll see construction of Montgomery Bend Section 1. Then starting the treatment of the subgrade for the road work, as well as some trenching work for off-site utilities. And then the last items on our report, just ongoing activities, update on the TxDOT projects, which are not much update. Final page, page 85 of your packets, the Lone Star Parkway Bridge repair that's being done by the county. The city has released or paid their share of the project per the interlocal agreement, so that will be on this fiscal year. And then you'll see the photos, again, the pre and the as of August 10th. They are wrapping up that project if they're not complete now, just pending final cleanup. And the last 2 items are regarding the Lone Star Parkway and Buffalo Springs intersection improvements. So according to the county, the week of August 28th, next week, is they will begin work on both of those projects to get the signal installed as well as the additional turn lanes on Lone Star Parkway started. And that is all I have.
Any indication on the delay with Popeyes and the coffee place? Is that a labor supply demand thing?
I have not heard. I have not heard on the reasons why.
It's good to see them start digging for discounts.
Correct.
Everybody needs tires, so go
What
buy
about
tires.
the Mexican restaurant that was coming in? What was it called?
Loopy.
Loopy?
So
What's going
within
on?
the past 30 days, we approved the amending plat for it, which was kind of their last holdup. So we gave them their full, they had a conditional approval. We released the full approval letter a couple weeks ago. I saw they have a sign up to looks, or they have will start posting their construction notices, just a blank board. So, but I haven't heard a definitive timeline from them, one way or the other.
Chris, I went by the Lone Star Parkway Bridge today. That's the substantial rocks.
Yes.
Because of the erosion, I'm assuming those rocks will really and truly keep the earth in its place.
Correct.
Okay. Because by the picture here too, I don't know what the depth is, and I know that water can get pretty high, but and they dug down some, so if it crest up, I was just curious if we're concerned about that.
No, so where they put it is based on, and I don't have the plans in front of me, but they showed where the normal high water marks were.
Yeah.
Is kind of how they based it.
Okay.
And so they buried it down and it's sitting on top of the fabric. So they have the geotextile fabric on top of they imported clay, compacted it, and then they have the geotextile fabric and then the rock on top.
Good.
So it's not, there's a couple barriers there.
And it's not just rocks placed there, it's important to
Correct.
know
And
that.
then they added an additional, so at both ends of it, they dug it down. I think that rock mat is 3 or 5 feet deep at the ends to help where the erosion would.
There's trees down over it too on the south side. I don't know if you've seen all those trees down, but who's responsible for clearing that out?
So those are still, they're on private property.
Okay.
Best I can answer that.
It's like a mess over there. Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Item 11, police and code enforcement report, Chief.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. You have the report in front of you. You also have code enforcement there if you have any questions.
Failing to stop and give information all of a sudden showed up.
Yeah, that's a good find, Mayor. I was talking to them about that this morning when I seen that, because before you stop and give information, some of the things that you see we send into investigation to investigate. A lot of times these are easy to go by because you have a license plate, and then you just go to somebody's house and say, hey, you didn't give information. So I wanted to make sure all of those were cleared that way, and we didn't have any of them that needed to go to investigation. And so seems that all of them are cleared that way, and we'll make sure of that tomorrow morning. But yeah, that's because that failure to stop and give information kind of leaves some people high and dry with their insurance, and other people get away with it. But like I say, it's pretty easy to track and investigate because you always know them to get a license plate.
What's DWLI?
I was just going to ask. What is
Driving while living in
Driving
Indigenous
while-
or what?
What is driving while being city council? No, it's that's driving while license. So yeah, because you got the DWI up front. So
What's the DLI? What is that?
driving while license or inoperable or suspended. Yeah.
How's it been with school? Usually school blocks the whole city and we shut down. It
School's
seems
been
to
doing
be
really good. They've got their officers who are doing a lot of traffic direction during the
Yeah.
morning time, and it's working out pretty good. So when it gets here on 105, it seems to go a little bit quicker.
Yeah,
So
it
good.
seems to be painless so far.
Sometimes.
Less painless.
Any others?
Great video, by the way, on Faith and Blue.
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
That
Very
was
good.
Anything for code enforcement? Ma'am?
No?
Oh, she's got it.
You got something? Go ahead, Ms. Tilly.
In response to your request on 105 or Eva there on Old Plantersville and the low-hanging trees, I have been in contact with TxDOT. Steve Rona is the manager, I think, or supervisor in TxDOT area, so I've been in email with him. He's also going to look at the faded street signs at
Right.
that same intersection. So
Right.
he is looking at it.
Okay.
If you want me to attach you as an
Yeah,
email
just
on there.
let me know when that's done. Thank you.
Well, I do have one more. Last month, we had a request for, there was a home doing business. Did we ever follow up with all that?
Which one? There's
which
several.
one?
Well, there's the one that was right over here.
Downtown College? Yeah.
On
Yeah.
College? Yes, sir. I'm in contact with that property owner, so I'll let you know what happens with that. I have a report getting ready for that.
Okay.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you. Item 12, City Administrator.
Thanks, Mayor. In your packets, you have my memo there with the bullet highlights. So we posted a call to volunteers to apply to serve on the Montgomery Economic Development Corporation, the Planning Commission, and the Transportation Advisory Committee. So for the benefit of people watching or listening, you can go to our homepage, which is www.montgomerytexas.gov/BC for boards and commissions, where you'll find all of those boards and commissions on the left-hand side. You can look at the information there and see what the requirements are. So we will leave this notice open for 2 weeks. So as of Monday, 2 weeks, we'll close it, bring it to y'all. Depending on the amount of applications we get, candidates we get, maybe we have a workshop to go through the candidates and decide from there, or if we don't get that many, then we just go to a regular meeting and have it, or set aside some time beforehand. But I'll bring that to you when we get those applications. We posted that on our Facebook page, the rear board, and it'll go on the newspaper if it hasn't already. So also let your folks know if you have candidates that you want to apply, you can either have them contact me and I can direct them, or just give them the website and have them apply directly. They'll find the application on there. Next bullet item is EDC update. Had a meeting last night. We are working with the EDC on the Economic Development Director job description. That's moving forward from what I understand from last night. Strategic planning, which was identified priority by the city council for the MDDC. We'll be working on that once we get this budget evolution finished. So we'll jump on that at that time. Hydrology issue update, I wanted to have an update for you, but I'm thinking that this will probably just need to be an executive session moving forward. I don't have a real update. I was supposed to have a meeting this past week with one of the developers. That fell through. Don't want to get any more on that, so I'll bring it back to you guys in executive session for an update. But that is moving forward incrementally. And then the last item is the best one. I will be on vacation. Back on the trail starting this Friday and back September 6th. So I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. For me.
I just think everything's, with this way of moving forward has helped, where there's less surprises and you keep us surprised and we meet individually. We create some buy-in or lack of buy-in, however you want to look at it, but we discuss as we go and I think it's working well. It takes more work. This council and staff has put in a lot of work, so thank you to the staff and council for putting forth the hours and the extra attention. I believe it'll pay off in the end.
Thank you for that. I agree. Keep doing it.
All right. I'll get to my... Okay. We have no executive session?
I have one more question.
No?
Okay.
Well, Caleb is here. I don't know if I can ask that or not. That's cool.
If you're in doubt, maybe you shouldn't.
I'll have to ask later.
Okay. All right, council inquiry. Anybody? If not,
What is our recourse when there's not been rezoned and the business continues to operate?
What is our recourse if we have a business operating
Over home? Yep. So
when it's not zoned properly?
correct.
Well, we would send to the operator
Yeah.
to do an investigation, and we would look for compliance first, of course, and then we would decide if we don't get compliance.
all right. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Sorry, is that a formal email? Is that an email that just needs to be sent
No,
to you?
it'll be a letter sent via certified mail.
I understand, but to have it looked at, to get, yes, so to issue. Okay,
You done?
I am done. That's all right. I just want to make sure that. Nope, I'm good.
All right, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of adjourning, say yes.
Yes.
And we are at 6:54 adjourned. Thank you all.